then the question arose, well, if you're interested in Vajrayana, because these are all Vajrayana, Tantrayana practices, how do you prepare? The principal way to prepare is by training in the Lamrim, and by getting some understanding of renunciation, the wish to be free of cyclic existence, some understanding of bodhicitta, the loving, compassionate, altruistic intention to become a Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, and some understanding of the correct view of emptiness. Yeah, the ideal disciple for taking a highest class Tantra empowerment has realizations of all three. But His Holiness says if we waited until that time, it might be quite a while. So he said, if you have some understanding, that's good enough. But he asked that before taking a highest class Tantra empowerment, people should have taken refuge for at least 5 years and been a Buddhist for at least 5 years. Okay? Because what's happened is people rush in, they take these things, they find out what they are, and then they become overwhelmed, and because they don't have a proper foundation for the practice, then they drop it, and that's very bad karmically, because then it's breaking, precepts and commitments, and it also has an adverse effect on the guru who gave the empowerment. Okay, so we should definitely abandon that kind of thing. Yeah. So I really recommend going slowly in this regard, in entering the Tantra, not rushing into it at the beginning. And His Holiness also recommends people first take the action Tantra practices, train in them. When you actually have teachings on these action Tantra practices, like Thousand Arm Chenrezig, there's a lot to meditate on the yoga with signs and without signs. There's a lot already to meditate on there. Yeah. And then when you're ready, take the highest class Tantra things. But to really want to do that practice and to make a firm foundation so that you can benefit from taking the practice, from doing the practice. Okay? So, Lamrim foundation, essential. Yeah. And I actually think that doing, this is my personal opinion, that especially doing some training in the 4 establishments of mindfulness on body, feelings, mind, and phenomena, I think that's especially helpful before doing tantric initiation, or tantric empowerment or permission, because with the empowerments and permissions, you're visualizing yourself as the deity after dissolving yourself into emptiness. But if you have no understanding already of your body, feelings, mind, and phenomena, dissolving all of that into emptiness and reappearing in the divine form as a deity, that doesn't make much sense to you. You don't know how to put it together. Yeah. Whereas if you have some training in the 4 establishments of mindfulness, then you have some feeling about what our samsaric body is and how that's different from a deity body, what our samsaric feeling is. Feelings are, how that differs from great bliss. Okay? What a samsaric mind is, and how that differs from the mind of a Buddha that we're trying to imagine having. So it's very helpful to have that initial practice first, I think. Yeah, that's my personal opinion. Yes. Okay.
There are Jainams in the highest class Tantra, one-day things of the same deities? Or is it just Vajrayana?
No, usually the Jainams are of a different deity than the Wangs are. Okay? So in lowest class, it's 1,000-arm Chenrezig, then Jainangs of 2-arm Chenrezig, 4-arm Chenrezig. There are highest class Tantra forms of Chenrezig. So you also have to, just as there's action Tantra and highest class Tantra forms of Tara, so you have to ask which class Tantra it is, what are the commitments, okay, all those things. The question then comes up, before I get to answer your question exactly, is, well, why did the lamas give some of these jainangs and wongs so freely if many of the people who attend are beginners and haven't even taken refuge, That's a very good question. Yeah, it's a very good question. It could be because they think that it plants seeds on the people's mind streams. It could be because those particular people requested them to give those practices. Yeah. There's a whole variety of other reasons that could be involved too. Okay? But His Holiness really emphasizes that people should come to teachings. That's the important thing. And later do the wongs and jainangs. And after you take a wong and jainang, then you should request teachings on the practices. There's a whole teaching on the succession Guru Yoga. If you have a sadhana commitment, request teachings so you know how to do the sadhana properly. Okay. Then your question of how do you know which ones to take and how do you hear about when they're being given? Okay. So if you've been studying for a while and you're usually involved with the Dharma Center, and so usually they will at some point be requesting from one lama or another when they come to visit that they give the certain empowerments or jainangs. So then you would usually be a student of the teacher at that Dharma Center. So you would confer with that teacher on, do they think that you're ready to take it? And, first you assess yourself, and then you would confer with your teacher. Do you think that, given how well you know the Dharma and so on and so forth, that you're ready to take that? Yeah, that sometimes Vajrasattva is given as the highest class Tantra Jainang. Usually it's Vajrasattva is the couple Vajrasattva is highest class Tantra. So the single Vajrasattva is action Tantra. Usually in highest class Tantra, the Vajrasattva practice is involved in your long sadhana, and there's not a special Jainang given for that. So I'm not really up to how this comes in. Yeah. But I should say that Vajrayana is a wonderful, beautiful practice. Yeah. So I don't want to scare people away from it, but I do want to encourage everybody to make yourself into a receptive vessel for receiving the empowerment or the Jainang, because that's the way you'll really benefit from it, and we won't get confused from it afterwards. That's my point. Yeah. So we have work to do to make ourselves into a suitable vessel, don't we?